Alright, today I'm going to talk about my Kel-Tec P3AT. This is my EDC firearm, or my everyday carry firearm. This isn't really going to be an in-depth review of the ammunition or the firearm. Again, there's plenty of YouTube videos out there that will definitely do a better job. I fielded a few requests from my subscribers asking me about what do I suggest they purchase for an everyday carry firearm. Again, I'm definitely not in that position to be making recommendations to people. I've not handled every firearm out there. I just don't have enough experience with everything that's available. Plus, you know, an everyday carry gun is going to be dependent upon a lot upon your size. If you're a very large person, or a medium build person, or a small person, I kind of put myself in the latter category there. I'm rather on the small side. I have small hands. I wear a size 7 men's glove, which is a small, sometimes an extra small, just depends. So I can get away with a small firearm. Some of you bigger guys out there, this type of gun definitely may not be suitable for you. I don't know. Plus, this is a 380 ACP. I don't want to get into the 9mm versus 380 debate, and you know, there's definitely lots of opinions out there about what the minimum caliber should be for a self-defense firearm. I'm not going to get into that either. I've done, like everything else, I do a ton of research and ballistic reports and on and on and on, and this is what I've chosen as an everyday carry firearm. And yes, I have 45s, 9mm, 40s, 10mm, and other 380s. I love those guns. I love my Glock 19, as a matter of fact. But I can't carry my Glock 19 as an EDC gun. It's too big. I'm too small, it's too big, and what ends up happening is I end up leaving it at home, and I'm out somewhere and I don't have a firearm on me. The best EDC carry gun that you can possibly ever own is the one that's always on you. And that's my philosophy. Even if it had to be a 22 or a Derringer, it's better than absolutely nothing, or my fists. So obviously I'm not carrying a 22 Derringer, this particular firearm, the Kel-Tec P3AT, is the lightest 380 ever made. It's just a smidgen lighter than the Ruger LCP, which is roughly the same size, give or take. Either of these guns are suitable for an EDC carry. I think, in my opinion, a 380 is a suitable caliber for a self-defense gun if you have the right ammunition for it. So you have to find something that will cycle reliably through this gun. The Kel-Tec P3AT has been known to be finicky about the type of ammunition that it likes. It is also a type of firearm that needs to be broken in. I've shot 300-400 rounds through this gun. I've gotten used to it. I've done the break-in. I've tested different ammunition, and I've settled on one particular self-defense round, and that's all I use in this gun. Again, this is not a firearm I go out on the weekends and go down to the range and shoot for fun. This is not a fun gun to shoot. It's small. After a while, it starts to hurt my wrist. It is a EDC gun. It's for self-defense purposes. But I have familiarized myself with the gun by shooting it often, and I've also shot my defense loads, the loads that I carry in the gun every day. So I have confidence in the ammunition that I'm using as my defensive load. I know that it cycles correctly, I know that it shoots fine, and I know that it will get the job done if I ever have to stake my life on it. So, I wasn't going to really make this a review video of the Kel-Tec P3AT, but I will share some specifications on it. It's a semi-auto locked breech, 6-round magazine, 1 in the chamber, 7 total, double action only. There is no slide release, no conventional safety, no hammer. Well, there's a hammer, but it's not a cockable hammer. Unlike some other 380s, this is double action only. It is 8.3 ounces unloaded. A loaded magazine is 2.8 ounces, so total about 11.1 ounces, give or take. Length is 5.2 inches. Height is 3.5 inches. Width is 0.77, roughly a little over 3/4 of an inch. And the barrel length is 2.7. And that gives us a sight radius of 3.8 inches. 5-pound trigger pull, so it's not too heavy. Basically, it's a plastic-bodied firearm, but the barrel's made of 4140 steel. The frame is 775 T6 aluminum. Now, you'll see on mine, it's just a battery I have right here. Unloaded to the conventional safety check that everybody does in their videos to assure the viewing public that I am a responsible firearm owner. So what I have on here, I have a cut down Hogue rubber grip. This is a Hogue generic small grip that I've trimmed off the bottom. I also have this finger grip or pinky extension, which is just a floor plate replacement on the stock 6-round magazine. And why do I have that? Well, I have, like I said, small hands, and you can see when I put my hands on here, if I didn't have that pinky extension, my pinky would be down here someplace. And I've shot this without the extension, and I've shot it with the extension. I much prefer this pinky extension. Now it does add a little bit more length or height to the gun, but this doesn't affect the way I carry it. So this is more comfortable for me, fits my hand better. The grip is just a little grip, adds a little bit more thickness for my hand, and I like this finger separation area right here. It keeps my fingers separated. It's much more comfortable to shoot this way. Now, I did have the pocket clip right here. You can see I still have the Allen bolt right there. I did run this with the pocket clip for a while in my pocket and such. I didn't have any problems, but for me to clip this on my pocket, something ends up sticking out of my pocket. You know, this ends up sticking out, and then there's the issue of having an exposed trigger. So I experimented with that. It just didn't work for me, and I prefer to have this in a low profile holster, something that covers my trigger guard. So I took the clip off. Aside from that, this gun is, well, let's see if we can see this here. You can see there's not much for sights on this, and what I did was I went in here and I painted this back sight kind of fluorescent orange, and the little front tip of the front sight I put some white on it. Alright, these sights, there's not much for sights on here. I found using these sights somewhat cumbersome. Added the color, that helps out a little bit. You could do the same if you've got some fingernail polish or some model paint. Something to add a little bit of contrast to help you line these up. You could also use a laser on this particular firearm if you so were inclined to. The Crimson Trace is a nice laser. I played around with it a bit, but yeah, that's something I may or may not do in the future. It's hard for me to say. So aside from what you've seen here, I've more or less just completely disassembled the firearm, well, obviously to clean it and such. All the internal components are the original components. Now getting into the ammunition, again, what I use is the Hornady Critical Defense 90 grain 380 round. These are something that function extremely well in this particular firearm, and this is an enhanced self-defense round. These, let's see, according to Hornady, and from what I can gather from my reviews, this particular round, which uses the FTX bullet, is unaffected by thick and heavy clothing, including denim and leather. And that's one of the drawbacks of smaller caliber rounds, is they don't have the deep penetration capabilities of the larger, heavier rounds. So that's important, especially going with a small round like this. If you notice, it is a hollow point. Get the camera to focus on that maybe. But it does have a red tip in it, and that red tip allows the bullet to penetrate and provides better expansion, and doesn't get clogged up like other conventional hollow points. So let's see, Hornady says their FTX bullet delivers superior controlled expansion. It is also a clean burning and uses an efficient propellant that reduces recoil in light handguns and generates minimal muzzle flash, which according to them won't disrupt night vision. So if you have a low light encounter, your night vision would not be as affected as much as other rounds. I haven't personally tested that, but that's Hornady's claim. And again, this is a 90 grain round. Since the Kel-Tec is finicky about the ammunition that you use, you've got to make sure that whatever you choose reliably cycles in your firearm and shoots well. So I did the break-in period on this gun using standard 380 ammunition. Did my due diligence. Came up with a few solutions for ammunition. I settled on the Hornady because it was readily available and reasonably priced. And I bought a few boxes. I put at least one box, maybe a box and a half, so probably between 20 and 40 rounds I've put through this gun. So I'm familiar with the ammunition, how it cycles, and that's what I carry in this gun. Again, this is an EDC gun. So also on that topic, well, actually not on that topic, but going back to the actual Kel-Tec, I've had a few people ask about my preferred carry method and where I carry extra magazines and so on. I don't carry extra magazines. I have one in the chamber and 6 rounds in the magazine. So when I go out the door in the morning, I've got 7 rounds to protect myself with. I can carry this in my pocket. I can carry it front and rear pocket. I can carry it in an ankle holster, which I have, and I can carry it inside the waistband. This is light enough if you get a suitable ankle holster, you can go that route. It's pretty non-obtrusive if that's where you want to carry it. I find that getting to my ankle is not very easy at times, so that's, you know, if this was my secondary firearm, having it in an ankle holster would be great, but it's my primary, so I need to have it a little bit closer to where my hands are. Sometimes I'll carry it in my pocket, or my rear pocket, my front pocket, as long as it doesn't imprint. I just don't like to have the trigger exposed. I've never had an accident before, or a improper discharge. I'm very, very cautious. So what I do is I prefer to have it. I prefer to have my firearm in a situation where the trigger guard is protected. So this is my inside the pants holster. This is I don't even know what kind of holster this is. I believe I originally bought this for my Walther PPK, which just turned out to be too heavy to carry on an everyday basis. This is obviously leather, and it's got this leather reinforcement piece and this clip. And the reason I like this style is you can see where the edge of the clip is. It's almost near the top of the holster. So when I tuck this in my pants, almost the entire holster is tucked inside. This doesn't ride up high or anything like that. So if I insert this into my holster, you can see how far down this goes. And I know what some of you are probably thinking. You're probably thinking, well, this is probably not the easiest to draw from inside of my pants. And you're right. It's not the easiest to withdraw. Some people, you know, they'll have this much right here sticking out, and they can easily grab it. This is tucked deep inside my pants. So even with a t-shirt, no one really can see this. But I've come up with a method to easily draw this out, and I can't demonstrate it, but if I were to reach inside my pants, I can tuck my pinky down between my waistband, and I can grasp it right here, and I can pull the firearm up with my pinky, allowing the rest of my hands to pull the gun out. And I have practiced this numerous times with an empty firearm, of course, and I can do it fairly quickly, assuming I don't have a long heavy jacket on. If I have a long heavy jacket, I've got to unzip the jacket and move it out of the way. I tend to lean towards law enforcement type of jackets, short jackets that come down to my waist, that allow me access to whatever I have on my belt or inside of my waistband without unzipping my jacket. So unless I'm up in the mountains or something like that, I'm probably going to have I won't be having a long jacket on. So there are other types of holsters like this on the market that you can purchase. Again, I had this one left over from my Walther PPK, and it tucks this gun up just fine, and you can see there's a lot of wear on this holster because I've been using this for years. But that's my EDC carry. That's the ammunition I carry in it, and this is my holster. So hopefully that answers some of the questions I had concerning what my EDC carry is.